Imagine this. You and your BFF are sitting in a car, an old used up car, and you're driving and it starts raining. Your windshield wipers not working, of course. And the only thing you can do is try to wipe it on the other side as you drive to get home safely as possible. And that's exactly what my mom and one of her best friends were doing in their early days in the United States of America. It was 1994 to 1996 when my mom really struggled. I mean, going from that to today, hiking on random Tuesdays, going to the beach when she wants to with her neighbor, having her own little business at her house. I don't say little to belittle it. I say little because she doesn't want to put too much time into it, and it helps pay the bills. So that's what my mom did. She came from those dire straits, those really gruesome conditions, being betrayed by the person that she married, where my dad forged the documents for the divorce papers. I don't think she even knew she was divorced until she found out the hard way. Wait, what? I don't have a husband? Oh, okay. I still got the baby though, right? That's me. I'm the baby. So how did my mom make this happen? And I think, first of all, if it wasn't the United States, this would be a lot harder and probably would not have as happy of an ending. So she went from food stamps to driving in a Mercedes. The first thing that my mom did, right, she learned the language of the country. She learned English. And even though the United States has no official language, a lot of immigrant communities come here and they don't learn the language. And I'm not saying forget your language, right? My mom and I still speak Russian. We come from Ukraine, right? Ukraine was colonized. It's very important to learn the language that most people around you speak. And for better or for worse, English is that language. And I say for worse sometimes because that language sometimes does not make much grammatical sense, right? We got two English languages, right? We got the UK one, the English one. That's a whole other TED Talk. Stay on topic, Georgie. So my mom learned English. Then she learned the second most important language, which is computer programming. Yeah, she decided that, you know what? Fudge my soul, fudge my happiness. I am going to focus on a different type of happiness, the Saturday, Sunday type of happiness. And eventually, she actually didn't think about it eventually. She was surviving. She was thinking about the moment. So she learned how to get a big job, right? So computer programming, she did that for a number of years and then switched to quality assurance. So she was checking the codes of other people. It pays similarly. It has a much smaller ceiling, I believe, but the knowledge that it takes is much less. So it was way less stressful, and she did that. At the same time, she discovered one financial guru, Susie Orman. And Susie Orman, my mom had no clue what she was talking about. She just understood her passion. And maybe that's how some of you guys feel with me. But Susie Orman did tell my mom through one of her books, get a 401k and contribute as much as you can to it from your incomes, at least up till the match. And that's part of the main reasons my mom can live this work optional life, right? Where she doesn't have to rely on a 9 to 5. She still works, right? She's got her business, and she supplements it with her savings and or investments. Actually, she has not touched her investments, but that's a different story once again. So she saved up about $100,000 to $150,000 in her 401k. My mom also, with the help of her parents, saved up around 100 grand in just cash for emergencies, and supplementing her pay without selling off any of her stocks. And that took about 20 years to do. So a lot of people say, this is success in America. You get over here, you put in the work, and 3 years later, you're a millionaire. No, not always, right? My mom was not super business savvy. Now, she's very financially savvy, but not super business savvy. She's very organized, but that organization does not carry over into finding the best deals and flipping to the best of her right. She likes to enjoy the process. She doesn't focus on the money. She focuses on the quality. And that allows her to live a very happy life. So what happened to her around 2008 is she lost her job like many Americans did, and that gave her a new perspective. So when 2008 happened, she started hanging out with me a lot more. We started watching anime, we started going to the gym together and spending like a lot of quality times. It was actually one of my favorite times that I had with my mom. 2008, it was awesome. She would pick me up after school. She used to not do that, and she hired like a neighborhood, a dude in the neighborhood, taught me a lot about life. He used to be in some of the concentration camps back in the 40s, and that was a great life lesson, but it was pretty expensive. That guy charged like $5 a day for his services, and that built up over time. But it gave me a good experience. But I loved when I got a break from him. Rest in peace, Lyova. And that's when I started bonding more and more with my mom. She also learned that she can make some money on the side flipping things, and that comes in later. So that 2008 lesson, that taught her a lot about freedom. For us, it was 2020 that taught us a little bit more about freedom. Ironically, when we're all locked up in our house, right? Now we're like, wait, we don't have to go to work. Like, what's kind of happening here? We working from home, right? We had a new sense of belonging, and some of us loved it, actually, and some of us hated it and had a very difficult time. So when my grandparents got really sick, my grandpa lost his leg around in 2011, and my grandma got really, really ill around 2011 as well, 2010, and my mom had to take care of them. I helped how I could, but, I had to go to college, and while I was in college, my mom actually got let go from her work. She got let go because she started giving way more energy to her family, taking care of her mom, than to her 9 to 5. And at first, it was terrible, right? She was really, really afraid. But then she was like, you know what? I have a savings. I have my 401k money. I got to figure out what to do with that. I have the skill set. I could find quality brands and at very affordable prices. I know how to sell them for higher. And so she did that. She started a business thanks to basically losing her job and taking care of her family. When she found her business, some months she would make like $6,000 in profit, which was more after taxes that she received from her 9 to 5. Now, not all months were $6,000 in profit. There were some months that it was very little profit, like $500, $1,000. Right now, things are extra tough, right? People's spending behaviors are changing, and so the business model has to adapt slightly. But that's all fun when you're working through these kind of crises at your own time, at your own leisure. You can take breaks when you want to, you can have an off day when you want to, and you could actually stop working for a year or two because of all of what she saved up and invested up. And now she had no idea how to work with stocks and all that, but because her 401k matched, that was a pretty decent advantage that she received simply by taking advantage of that 401k and being brave enough to take that money, use credit cards, which is I guess another whole other TED Talk. She used credit cards to borrow money at very cheap rates. I'm talking Warren Buffett type rates. Right now, my mom has a loan out for about $9,000. She has the cash, but she chose to borrow the money, pay a 2% fee, which is unheard of, right? Banks borrow from each other for like 3% these days, which is a 40-year high. So my mom found a way to borrow money even more cheaply, invest it into goods, and flip them. So that's ultimately like the steps that my mom took. So one, she had that good friend who would wipe the windshield with her. The community watched me as a kid when I was a baby. She learned English, she learned computer programming, she got a job that she hated, she found a way to make it a little bit easier on her by finding a similar job that she hated a little bit less. She took the lessons that life gave her, like 2008 and losing her job, her mom getting so sick that my mom needed to stay home and take care of her. And she also invested in outside help as well. We had an Armenian lady come and prepare food for my grandma, and then it became the whole family during that time period. And that lady, she helped us so much. So that was really awesome for my mom to invest in that, and ultimately give my mom more time to spend with me in a non-stressful, taking care of my grandparents way. Not that it was stressful taking care of them. It was a different type of stress, definitely not a negative thing, but it did take a toll in some way or form, waking up at like 1 a.m. and my grandpa high off his medication saying, "We got robbed, it's time to dance." So hilarious. With that, guys, I hope this video inspired you in some ways, like knowing that you don't have to create an online business overnight or invest in the right key stocks. My mom didn't know how to pick stocks. She just knew investing is the way to go. So she did it. Maybe if she knew more about it, instead of about 150K tops from her 401k, she'd be looking at 450K, right? I definitely am looking at already around 250K or so, maybe 220 with the crash. I did reach as high as 290 invested in stocks, but with this pullback, with this bear market, my stocks have tanked, and I'm kind of in the same place my mom was after 20 years of investing, because the next generation is supposed to do what you do, but do it better, do it more optimally. And this is the first time we're seeing a slowdown of that socially, right? If you look at the big picture, people are not able to keep up with what their parents were able to do, and that's not always on the people. You just have to adapt, because the same strategies just aren't going to work in the future. So we do have to adapt as a people. But I really hope this video brought some new perspectives to your life, and anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. You just have to define what it is. And it isn't always having $1 million in stocks, okay? There's other ways to be financially free enough. Peace out.